Hi everyone, my name is Amber, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be telling you about my most anticipated book releases for April to June. So I used to do these videos every single month, and then I decided it got a bit time consuming to film and edit them every single month. So I decided to start doing them quarterly, and now I have 50 book releases to talk about for the next 3 months. So maybe this was not the best plan. Because I have so many releases, I'm going to try to speed through them as much as possible. There are some that I just want to vaguely mention, there are some that I want to go into a bit more detail about. So let's get started. These first few books are out in April. The first one I want to mention is The Good Sister, which I have done a full review for. This one is an adult thriller about a woman called Fern and her sister Rose, who have a difficult relationship with her mother, and they also share a secret. The second book is Second First Impressions. This one is by Sally Thorne, I think, and I've never read any of their books, but I really want to because I've heard they're really good. It's an adult romance with a retirement home setting, so I think it's meant to be really cute. When the Stars Go Dark. This is an adult mystery thriller. It follows a missing persons detective who, following a tragedy, goes home to her childhood town, only to find that there is also a girl missing there. So it sounds a bit like The Dry, which I loved, so hopefully this holds up as well. Witches Steeped in Gold, which is an YA fantasy book about two witches who are sworn enemies, but they have to work together to bring down a common enemy. I think they have to get revenge for some reason. Mirrorland, which is an adult mystery thriller. I think it's a psychological suspense which follows two twin sisters who are both in love with the same man. Of course, my battery decided that now was a good time to die, so let's hope that we're back in the similar sort of spot. Let's get on with the books. The next one I wanted to mention is A Deadly Influence. This one is another adult mystery thriller. It's about a hostage negotiator for the NYPD who used to be part of a cult. I think it sounded pretty generic until the cult part, and now I am suddenly really interested. The Light Through the Leaves. The tagline for this one says, "In a moment of crisis, Alice leaves her daughter unattended for a few minutes. When she returns, her daughter is gone." So it's an adult contemporary mystery thriller, and I'm here for that. That's all I need to know about this one. Another adult thriller that I want to talk about briefly is The Perfect Daughter. This is about a woman whose daughter supposedly has multiple personality disorder, and the daughter supposedly killed someone, and all of the evidence points towards her, but I have a feeling that's not going to be the case. Becoming Leidah, which is historical fiction set in Norway, I believe. So it's a love story set in 19th century Norway about a woman who was rescued from the sea, the fisherman who saved her, and then, get this, a shapeshifter who follows them around everywhere. So it was sounding pretty normal up until the shapeshifter part. I'm quite interested. Dial A for Aunties. I've already read this one. It's an adult contemporary book, kind of like a rom-com sort of comedy of errors kind of thing, and it's about a main character called Medi who, along with her mother and her three aunties, have to cover up the fact that Medi murdered someone for good reasons, or rather a good enough reason. The guy was trying to molest her, so she killed him. The Infinity Courts. This one is YA sci-fi. It's about a main character who has just graduated and she's going to a party, and then she is murdered, and she ends up in somewhere called Infinity where an AI is controlling the afterlife. So this sounds like a mishmash of things, and I'm quite interested. Meet Me in Another Life. This one, the synopsis is quite vague, but I think it's an adult book about two people who have infinite lifetimes and intertwining fates. So it's kind of like a timey-wimey alternate reality thing, maybe. The Forest of Stolen Girls. This is a YA mystery thriller, which is also historical, so historical mystery thriller. This is by the author of The Silence of Bones, and I'm so interested in this one. It's about a main character whose father disappeared after he was investigating the disappearances of 13 young teenagers. So he vanished while looking for them, and I think she then has to go and find her father. The End of Men, which is another one that I've already read. This is post-apocalyptic or apocalyptic about a pandemic which kills off men. It's a good book. I enjoyed it enough to recommend it. Pride and Premeditation, which is a YA mystery. It's a Pride and Prejudice retelling, in case you couldn't tell from the title, and this is about a aspiring lawyer called Lizzie Bennett who wants to solve a scandalous murder. Loving Colour, which is an anthology of African folktales and also reimagined Greek myths, and this one sounds really good, although I'm not a massive fan of short stories, so I think I have to be in the right mood to read this one, but it does sound like something I might enjoy. The Prison Healer, which is YA fantasy. This is about a young teenage girl who is a prison healer, and she has to keep the rebel queen alive for as long as possible, and she receives a note from, I guess, the rebels to say that they're coming, and she has to keep her alive until then. The Cost of Knowing, which I think is YA contemporary / magical realism. This is about a main character who has the power to see the future. His brother has the power to look at the past, I think, and then the guy who can see the future predicts or foresees his brother's death. What Comes After, which is again a mystery thriller. You're probably sensing a theme here. It's what I'm really into at the moment. This is set in a community in the Pacific Northwest, I think, and the death of 2 teenage boys kind of separates the community and breaks it, and then a pregnant girl comes out of the woods. I'm not really sure how or why, but it sounds intriguing. Sister Song, which is historical fantasy. This one is set in post-Roman Britain. The Romans have abandoned the land, and these 3 siblings are inheriting their father's kingdom and also trying to prove themselves, I think. I've got a review copy of this one. I'm really looking forward to reading it. The Last Watch. This one is a sci-fi and it sounds so good. So it's set at the edge of the universe apparently, and the universe is about to collapse, and the only thing standing between humanity and annihilation is a group of soldiers, and this sounds so good. I can't wait to get my hands on it. Kisses and Croissants. This one is about a teenage girl, YA contemporary, about a teenage girl who is part of an elite ballet school in Paris, and she meets a French boy. He shows her around. It's probably like an Anna and the French Kiss kind of thing. Project Hail Mary, which is I think the first May book on this list actually, so I think all these books now come out in May. Project Hail Mary is Andy Weir's next book, and I know nothing about it. It's sci-fi, it's adult, it's Andy Weir, and I'm so excited to read it. I'm gonna get my hands on it straight away, I think, and do a full review of it. Hopefully it's really, really good. Sorrowland, which I think is a horror book, judging by the description. So it's about a woman who flees her religious compound or cult, and she gives birth to twins in the woods, and then she goes through some sort of metamorphosis, and that's all I know about it. It sounds really weird, and I'm looking forward to reading it. Local Woman Missing. This is another mystery thriller. So one person went missing, and then a woman went missing with her child, but only one of them came back. That's all I want to know about that one. It sounds good. I'm intrigued. Ariadne, which is a retelling of the Minotaur myth. Counting Down With You, which is a YA contemporary romance. In this one, the main character fake dates the school bad boy. Honey and Issues Guide to Fake Dating. This one is by the author of that book that I've forgotten. I will put it here. Which I actually really enjoyed, and this one again is a queer love story set in Ireland, I think, and I guess the main 2 girls are fake dating, which I'm excited about. A Master of Gin. This one is set in early 19th 20th century Cairo, I think, and it's a murder mystery kind of thing with supernatural elements. I haven't read the novellas yet. Apparently the novellas are really good, and I want to get to those before I read the full-length novel, just because I've got a thing about reading books in the order that they were published, especially if they're in a series. Son of the Storm, which I think is an adult fantasy again. This is about a young scholar, and the tagline says that his ambition threatens to reshape the empire. That's all I know about it. The cover is amazing. I cannot wait to read this one. The Kingdoms, which again I have a review copy for, and I'm so looking forward to reading it. So this one is said to be great for fans of Evelyn Hardcastle, which I am. It says that it's genre bending and time twisting. So those are all things that I really enjoy, so I cannot wait to read this one. I'm hoping to pick it up very soon. The Ivies, which is Alexa Dunn's new YA book. It's a thriller. Haven't read anything by her before, but I'm quite keen to. This one is a thriller set in high school, and the main characters I think are battling each other to try to get into Ivy League colleges. Take Me Home Tonight, and all I know about this one is it's YA contemporary, and it's by Morgan Matson, who I love. I love her writing so much, so I can't wait to read this one. I can't believe it's been a few years since she last brought out a book. Some Girls Do. This is another YA contemporary. The openly gay track star falls in love with the closeted bisexual beauty queen, which sounds great. I love the sound of that. The Siren. The only thing I really know about this one is I really like the cover, and it's a thriller about famous people, I think. Off the Record, which is I don't know what this is. It's some kind of thriller. So it's about a teenage journalist who apparently uncovers the secrets of a century, or of a decade. Again, this next one I don't really know much about. It's Sunkissed by Casey West. The only thing I know about it is it's YA, it's contemporary, and it's Casey West, so I'm looking forward to reading it. Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Of course I'm looking forward to reading this one. Again, I don't really know what it's about. I have a review copy. Cannot wait to read it. I'm hopefully going to be doing a Taylor Jenkins Reid project in the next month or so, where I read all of her books and decide which one is best. So far it's Daisy Jones. Malibu Rising could maybe take the crown, but I don't know. I do love Daisy Jones so much. The next one is The Maidens, which is a new thriller from Alex Michaelides. I think that's how you pronounce his name. This is the author of The Silent Patient, and I've got a review copy of this one as well. I'm really looking forward to reading this. I think actually now we're into June. Sorry, I should have said we're now into June's books. The next one I want to mention is For the Wolf. I'm not sure if this is YA or adult, but it's some kind of fantasy, and it's about a girl called Red who is the second daughter to be born in centuries, and because she's a second daughter she has to be sacrificed to the wolf, who people are hoping will then come back and join everyone on Earth or something. I don't really know. It looks really good, and it's been getting quite a lot of hype, so I'm looking forward to reading it. Ace of Spades, which is a YA contemporary. I was sure this was a sci-fi, but it's actually a YA contemporary. I don't really know much about it other than it's set in a private academy, and it's a dark contemporary full of secrets, so it sounds like my kind of thing. Might have some rich people drama. The Jasmine Throne, which is an adult fantasy book. This is by the author of Empire of Sand, which I haven't read yet, but I'm convinced I'm going to love it. SA Chakraborty loved it, so I think I will too. So this one is set in a world inspired by India's history. It's about a captive princess who becomes friends or more with a maidservant, and together they have to save the empire from the princess's brother, who is ruling, and he's apparently an arsehole. So, daughter of Sparta. The tagline says, Sparta forged her into a deadly weapon. Now the gods need her to save the world. That's all I need to know. It's a Greek mythology retelling. Cannot wait to read it. A Dark and Secret Place. This one sounds so good. So it says it's for fans of Jane Harper and Rachel Kane, which I absolutely am. It's a thriller book and it sounds really dark. So it's about a main character who discovers that her mother has been secretly writing or corresponding with serial killers for decades. She doesn't know why. I don't know why, but I'm so excited to read this one. I cannot wait. I'm going to do a full review once I get to it. The next one is An Emotion of Great Delight, which is Tara Mathis' new book. I love her contemporary books. I don't like her dystopian Shatter Me series. That's not my kind of thing, but I really enjoyed her contemporary book that she released a few years ago. Now she's releasing another. This one is set in 2003, just after the US has declared war with Iraq, and it's following a Muslim teenager who is dealing with a lot of Islamophobia. It's probably going to be really emotional because her last one was. The next one is a non-fiction. It's called The Woman They Couldn't Silence, and I don't know exactly who this is about because I can't remember her name, but it's about a woman who apparently changed women's rights forever. I've read another book by this author called The Radium Girls and I loved it, so I'm really looking forward to reading this non-fiction book by her. Sisters of the Snake. This is a fantasy retelling of some sort. I'm not sure what it's a retelling of, but the tagline says it's about a lost princess and a dark puppet master, so it sounds good. I think it sounds really good anyway. And finally, the last one is Fire with Fire, which is about two sisters who are dragon slayers, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing in this world, but I'm looking forward to reading it. And that is it. I'm sorry that I kind of rushed through most of these books. It's just there were a lot here and I couldn't keep this video going for too long and I'm getting tired. I really need another coffee and then I need to record some more videos. So again, I'm sorry I rushed through it, but hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you've got loads of new books to check out. I will leave a list of all of these books below. I'm not going to link to all of them, but you'll find a list below so you can search for them yourselves. Let me know which ones you're most anticipating in the next 3 months in the comments below, and I'll speak to you all in my next video. Bye.